guys, it's Hillary from I'm Like Brave, a blog all about creating an uncommon life you love with your family. I started this series because I absolutely love entrepreneurship. I've been owning a business with my husband for the past 5 years. And when I started Free Babes, even though I absolutely love the Instagram community, I found that there was a lot of comparison. Because people can post awesome pictures and have a certain amount of followers, it left me always kind of comparing myself to someone else's business. So I wanted these interview series to be a place of openness and vulnerability so that we can all learn from each other, learn from what truly works, what doesn't work in business. And there's that quote, a rising tide lifts all boats. And my idea is that we can kind of raise the bar of business amongst us women and ultimately, end up making more, working less, spending more time with our family, and living lives that we truly love. So today I'm with Meredith, owner of ChildHOODS. And it's the coolest company that makes these comfy hoodies and shorties, and it has this like laid-back surfer vibe that I love. I just got some for Aria, and I think that she's going to live in them this summer. They're so cool. So basically, before we get into any business talk, Meredith, can you tell us who you are, what you like to do, a little bit of your backstory?
Yes, I'm Meredith. I am a wife and a mom to two little girls. I have Avery, who's 3, and Quinn, who's 1. We recently moved to Houston, just from Dallas, so we've been in Texas for a while, but we're just kind of settling into our first house and just working a lot. And but I spend my days with my girls, and so yeah, it's a fun life with toddlers at home for me.
So you're a full-time stay-at-home mom?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And business owner. Sweet.
Yes.
So why did you start ChildHOODS? Like, what were you doing before, and what made you get into the business?
So in college, I studied clothing construction and pattern making, and also like a minor in visual arts. And then by the time I graduated college, I was pregnant with my first baby, and so I think my I was just like, my mind was on babies. So I started making baby patterns. I sewed a lot for my baby, but I only had like 4 months before I was due, so I didn't work in between school and having my first. I planned to be a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
And so I was just doing it for personal, like making my patterns, just sewing for fun, basically. And then just right up before I had my baby, I opened an Etsy shop on a whim. And so that's when it started 3 years ago.
Okay, right before you had your baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't your plan, like when you went to college, it wasn't to start a business?
No, not at all. I just planned on being a mom at home. I never really thought about having anything on the side.
Cool. And so at this point, like I know you work a lot, you're also a stay-at-home mom. Why do you keep building ChildHOODS? Like what value does it give to you in your life?
I ask myself this often. I think my husband does too. I think I definitely have like that intrinsic need to create and be creative. And so I think for me, even though business is really stressful and really busy, I think for me I would be even crazier and more stressed without that outlet and that, just filling that side of me. And I think now that I've seen like potential, it just, can't just let it all fall to the wayside, I guess. Like it's just something I want to do for me as well as for my family.
Okay. So you could be just like creating hoodies for your kids, but you see potential. Like what is that potential you see for your life, I guess?
I think I see a business that can be a little bit more self-sustained in the near future, where I can still be doing like the design and the creative things that I love, but I'm not putting in the crazy hours. And once it's a little bit more independent, I think it'll be a huge benefit and blessing to my family to have, an extra income and to, I'd love to like be able to give my kids summer jobs. If
That's
it was
awesome.
like, as we go on, I'd love to have my little girls sewing at some point. So,
Yeah.
That's pretty far off, but I just feel like there's like so much that could come of it. and I do enjoy it, and so I would have a hard time letting go.
Cool. No, that's something I'm excited about, is like teaching my kids all about owning a business. That just seems awesome.
Yeah, there's so much cool stuff to learn.
Totally. So throughout building ChildHOODS, what has been like a specific failure you've encountered, and what did you learn from it?
I think my biggest failure, or what's held us back the most, is the fact that it started out as a hobby, because from the get-go we didn't like think of it really as a business or start it with a business mindset. And so as I've grown, my demand has, for a year I've had demand that I can't fill, and it's been, it's hard to like manage it. And so just now we're kind of my husband and I are getting more serious about it and trying to catch up, like get our legs under us and figure out how we can set up sourcing and production and, and employing people and doing all of this kind of all at once. And so because we failed to set it up and have this infrastructure, we're kind of paying the price right now, trying to catch up and figure things out, all at one time.
So it's grown so organically that you didn't necessarily start with the end goal of it being like a self-sustainable business.
Yes.
What is your husband's background? What does he do?
He is in accounting and finance.
Okay, that's like a theme with all these women business owners. Their husband does finance.
That's funny. It's definitely convenient.
Oh, yeah.
That I don't have to touch the books.
That's awesome. Where are you finding your resources for just to come up with processes and systems and make it a business? Like, are you reading books or?
No, we have just been, I mostly just stress about it, and then Andrew, my husband, kind of does some practical calling around, and we've really, I'm not full of wisdom.
Okay, so he's basically scouting for you, and you're just telling what you need. That's cool.
Yes.
So what do you think is the one thing that you've done incredibly well in your business, like your biggest strength? And can you give me an example of when you put that into action?
Yes, I think a strength of mine is that I have lots of ideas. I feel like I have infinite products I would want to produce, or, I just have so much that I would want to do, and I've only done a fraction of it. But probably the best thing for us was paring down our inventory to only like a few best-selling items that are going right now. And our biggest success was when we finally made the plunge and made a big fabric order that I was able to choose all the colors and everything by myself. I wasn't just ordering off of a website, I got to kind of choose everything. And I feel like when we did that and we made our inventory, fewer products, that's when we started seeing a lot of success. So I think my strength is really the designing and creative part of the process.
That's really cool. Well, and I love what you said about paring it down and just focusing on a couple items, because have you heard of the 80-20 principle?
No.
It's I used to own a carpet cleaning company with my husband, and that's what we would do with our clients. So they say 80% of your clients will bring you the most trouble and the least revenue, and 20% will bring you the best revenue and be the easiest and best to work with. So every year you can evaluate it and truly just focus on the 20% and get narrower and narrower with your focus. And usually success will come from doing that. And it also can be applied to products. You can have all these wide range of things you offer, but really 3 of them are producing. So just focus on them and grow those.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah, I feel like that was super smart to do. And so what would you think is your biggest weakness as a business owner? That one thing that if you could figure it out, it would, skyrocket your business.
I think my biggest weakness is I'm not really a people person. I don't really like making calls. I don't like networking all that much.
Okay.
Over social media, I don't mind it, but me going in and talking to production or talking to suppliers by myself, I'm just I just probably won't do it.
Okay.
So I totally need a hand holder. My husband has to come with me, do it all with me. So I think that's like a limitation that I have, and it's a personality trait that if and when I can overcome it, I'll be definitely a better business owner.
Is it because you're more introverted, or because you're scared that they'll say no, or?
I think I'm kind of introverted. I think I'm social. I don't think many people would describe me as an introvert, but I think knowing myself, I am introverted.
And how does that work when you, like, who do you have? Okay, so for me, I'm small enough that I just place orders online for fabric. Like, how does it work when you get large enough? Do you have to, like, arrange deals with people, or do you just, like, who are these people you would have to talk to?
A little bit, yeah. I have a contact, a supplier, but we just talk over email, and that works fine with her. We're actually going on a fabric sourcing trip next week, and I totally have to drag my husband with me otherwise. But it's kind of like cold calls almost.
Really?
Like, we're just going to meet with some people. We have a couple appointments, and then we'll just try to meet with some other suppliers, but I don't even know really how it'll go.
Okay, that's cool. So you don't really order from websites anymore when you get to this volume?
Here and there I do, but no. We're like moving to probably getting our fabrics produced.
Cool, okay. That's awesome. So what has been the most successful way you have advertised and grown ChildHOODS?
Definitely through Instagram. I think that's a common thread through most shop owners, but Instagram is an awesome platform. It actually surprised me, that totally, once my Instagram was going, my business just like skyrocketed.
Okay.
But on Instagram, I think there's some really important things to that can help is as far as like photography and keeping things simple. And then giveaways are obviously great, but it is interesting, like as I've done a few over a couple years, like not all giveaways are created equally. And like I'm personally not a fan of loop giveaways, although maybe they're successful, but like drawing followers that are kind of being coerced into being your follower isn't necessarily like you're going to be the most valuable in the end. I've been surprised lately. I just have done like a little freebie, like tag a friend, and it's a chance to win this item that I posted. And these have been like crazy. My first one got 17,000 comments on this post.
Oh my gosh, are you
serious?
I
was like so not expecting it. Yeah, just for a pair of skinny sweats.
Wait, how long did you run it?
For 2 hours.
What?
But I think that comments kept pouring in, but it was like, I think like 15,000 comments in those 2 hours.
Holy cow,
so it was
that's
crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was like, and that was like a boost in followers and stuff. It wasn't like a crazy surge, but it was a lot more than I expected, and it took like no time or energy. Okay. So it was interesting.
So you haven't done much more besides just like Instagram and giveaways?
No, I haven't.
That's
not
awesome.
yet. I'd like to. I'm actually interested in marketing and advertising, but I need to get more clothes in stock to sell before I can really market more.
Well, yeah, you were saying like your issue's not exposure because you sell out. Your issue is keeping it up with demand. So
right, yeah, at this point.
Yeah, that's really great. So what has been, or how do you find balance, since you're a full-time stay-at-home mom, between working and building a business and your kids and not neglecting them, obviously?
It's really hard. It's really hard. I do know, for me, for the most part, in general, I want to be home with my kids and raising my kids. And they're little, so they're not in school yet. And so that's important to me, and we want more kids. And so family is my top priority, but it's hard to remember that sometimes because sometimes I feel my interest is like totally being pulled towards business. Sometimes it's just the stress of needing to get orders out makes me, feel like I need to be working more. And I also just like it. So sometimes I'm just wanting to do business things when my kids are awake. But as a rule of thumb, I try not to. I try to work early in the mornings usually is when I work. And I'm kind of an early bird, so that's good. Nap times and bedtime I work as well. But if I'm like super stressed, then I get a babysitter or I send my kids to friends' houses. So I'm not like just neglecting them while they're at home with me.
Yeah.
But it happens sometimes too.
Totally. I think that the hardest thing is not necessarily working, but Instagram. Like,
Yeah,
gosh,
always with you.
I'm like, how do I schedule my Instagram interactions? Because I am like always on it.
That's true.
Yeah. And my daughter started asking for my phone like all the time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's like watching me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes my daughter will be like, Mommy, put that away. And
yeah.
I'm like, you're right, I'm sorry.
I know,
it's
that's hard. So what has been your biggest business win so far? Like that most exciting thing that's happened?
I think recently, I feel like we've had lots of little climaxes. And recently we got our first like run of hoodies and sweats produced. So we listed hundreds of items, probably 500 or 600 items, in the shop one Saturday morning, and I listed a few that I was still sewing, but everything sold out, almost sold out within like 2 hours, and it was like the craziest 2 hours of my life. It was like, I felt like last year was busy, and we brought in, revenue-wise, we brought in like half of what I made last year in 2 hours, so.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It was really crazy and good, but.
Yeah, that's so exciting. That's like everyone's dream is like a quick sellout.
Yeah, it's like it's the result we were hoping for, but now we're kind of like scurrying to get more product. Yeah, we obviously need to do more next time. So,
that's awesome. So, is that your business? Like, are you trying to do it that way? Make everything ready to ship, so that you have like launches that sell out versus like responding to demand?
I would rather just have things in stock. So at any time, someone could just come and place their order, hopefully what they're looking for. And obviously, any clothing business, I think, is going to have times of being out of stock and waiting for new seasons. That's normal, but I don't want to be this, like, every 2 weeks on Saturday morning, it's this mad rush, and people are left frustrated when they don't get to check out. I'd love to just have, like, a more consistent process. Yeah.
So what would you say your business goals are for ChildHOODS in the next year? The things that you could achieve where you'd look back and say 2015 was a huge success. And also, where do you see ChildHOODS in the next 5 years?
2015 is totally a year of like getting our infrastructure all set up. And hopefully by the end of the year, things are just like working more independently.
Okay.
And so we have people doing a lot of the things that I don't need to be doing, and so that I can be focusing on more designing and the marketing and advertising side, new products, and even I would love to be doing like a spring summer launch and a fall launch, but with new-ish products. But right now it's just like we're trying to get anything in stock kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
okay.
We're selling as much as we can, and I'm sewing as much as I can still. So.
Okay. Are you waiting to get out of sewing?
For the most part, I think yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And are you gonna look into manufacturing or like piecework?
Right now we're working with some local production, and I feel like I can still be pretty involved, and kind of the control freak in me likes that. So right now we're gonna keep trying to work it out with a couple of contacts we have locally.
Okay.
So we'll see. I think it's not manufacturing, but it's not all that different in this. At the same time.
Yeah.
They have staff and they can produce quite a bit. So I think we might be able to make it work with them.
Okay. And so where do you see ChildHOODS in the next 5 years, or ultimately when it's grown to where you want it to be?
That is a hard question. I don't know that I totally know yet. I just want to keep continuing on. Obviously, I need to make it more sustainable for our family, and I think we've definitely taken strides to. We're getting to almost that point where it'll be less of a stress and less of a, all the time working all the time to fill in the gaps. So yeah, all I could say is I'd love to still be doing it in 5 years. I don't know exactly what that would look like.
Okay.
One business goal I have is to I told my husband that I would love to have ChildHOODS fund like a service trip within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
That's always been something I'd want to do, and I think this business, as a way that we could totally fund it and make it happen. So
yeah,
I'd love to do it at least once.
You were saying like to go build a house maybe or something all in the name of ChildHOODS.
Yeah, building a house in Mexico is like calling to me. I'd love to do that.
That is so cool. Well,
and as my kids are older, I'd love for them to come with me too. So it'd be cool if I could do it consistently.
Yeah, that is really awesome. I feel like if you really want to do that, you should start like putting aside money now, or like, $1 from every hoodie goes to our fund.
Yeah, that would be such a smart way to do it. But yeah, we do need to start thinking about it now to make it, a possibility.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I know that's what's so crazy about dreams is like I have so many dream boards, but it has to be like, I always say like one day. One day I'll do that, but like it has to start now. Literally, like tomorrow has to be one day in order to like start getting there.
That's
I'm still
true.
working on that.
I have a hard time like, no one's gonna make it happen except for you. So you actually have to make it happen. But it's hard to be that one that like, spurs things or gets it in motion.
Yeah, but that's cool. I could totally see you doing that, especially if you feel like you should. I mean, if you feel like it comes to your mind a lot, like you're totally gonna do that. I can tell. That's cool. So do you have any parting advice to all the creative entrepreneurs or moms that are potentially thinking of doing something watching this interview?
Yeah, I do. I think, especially with so many handmade shops, it's easy to compare yourself or think like, I wish that's what I was doing. Which is great from an inspiration standpoint, but I think it's important to like be true to yourself, to find something that you're passionate about, and then get started. By all means, I think anyone that's interested should start their own shops, turn it into a business. But I'd say to try not to think it's going to be someone else's business. Start with your idea and work to make it yours, rather than comparing and trying to build what someone else has.
Yeah. Find like your own voice and your own talent and use it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks so much for all of your advice and for being so open to the community and talking about your successes and your failures and everything. If you guys want to connect with Meredith, back on the Q&A on the blog, I'll have all of her contact info, her website, her Instagram, and please feel free to leave your comments or questions for her on the blog, and I will connect you guys so that she can answer them. I also wanted to make a quick note that if you are a business owner and want to be involved more in community, we have a new Facebook group called the Creative Entrepreneur Collective. You can just search it, and then I can add you to the group, and we have like 68 of us so far, and there's lots of really good questions and feedback everyone's giving each other. So thanks again, Meredith. And
thank you, Hillary.
Yeah, have a good Monday, guys.